Should we have a prayer first?
Sure, yeah. Raquel, that's up to you.
Marty, if you wouldn't mind, would you like saying it?
Sure. Our most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we're so thankful for the opportunity we have to meet tonight. Please help us be able to learn from each other and to be able to expand our knowledge and be able to enjoy tonight's meeting. Bless us in the things that we say and do that we might always remember Thee and make Thee a priority in our lives. These things we pray in the name of our Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Alrighty, so did everyone get a chance to look at the immigration map?
I did.
Right,
Yep.
perfect.
Yeah.
So the first thing we're supposed to do is to select 2 different ethnic groups from the drop-down menu and to just check out all the major trends.
You say that again?
We're supposed to look at 2 different ethnic groups and to see the major trends of immigration over the past couple decades.
Okay, I'm trying to get there.
Me too. I locked it. So I'll be right back. I'm not leaving. I'm just going to be on another screen for a minute.
Okay. All right. So do you just want me to list off some options we have? All right, so some of the options we could choose is China, Korea, Japan, Vietnam, India, the Philippines, all the Middle East, Mexico, Cuba, Dominican Republic, El Salvador, Canada, Russia, Germany, Poland, Czechoslovakia, Africa, England, Ireland, France, Italy, Norway, or Sweden.
Doesn't matter to me.
Kelly, Marty, any?
I don't care which ones we do. I thought I found some of the interesting information on the Irish and the Scottish and so I thought that was an interesting little bit, especially during slavery and the desire not to emancipate the slaves because it would mean competition for jobs. So I thought that was interesting.
Agreed. I'm looking at Italy, and it looks like in like the 1900s to like the 1950s, it was growing, and then from then on, it's kind of depleted.
You're looking at, is it Western Europe, Raquel?
I'm looking at Italy. Do you guys want to look at Italy and Mexico?
Oh, okay.
Because
Sure.
it seems like there's more immigration from the past in Italy and more in the present for Mexico.
Yeah, boy, I can't believe how concentrated it is on the East Coast. They're just
Oh,
like
yeah.
right there. Nothing in the Midwest. I mean, was that Chicago or Detroit? No, what is that? That's Chicago. Yeah. Wow. Let me look at Mexico. Whoa!
It's like polar opposites, right?
Absolutely. Oh my gosh.
I guess now people would rather stay in Italy.
Apparently. Wow. Look at that. I'd like to check. I want to look at Vietnam. My aunt and uncle live in Wisconsin, and there's, I guess, a large Vietnamese population there. I thought maybe it's Hmong.
It's Hmong.
Is it
They
Hmong?
have a Hmong. They have a Hmong speaking mission in Minnesota and in Wisconsin.
They do not.
They really do. My friend
Seriously.
went there.
Whoa. Well, I guess it's no stranger than Mongolians or New England Mongolian speaking. Okay, I'm back in. I'm gonna go back to Mexico then. Wow, that is amazing.
It looks like a lot of the Mexican immigration is coming from California, more like the LA, San Diego areas.
Hmm.
Yeah, and some in Texas too.
Well, I guess maybe Florida makes sense if we're talking about Cuba too. Is that part of that? Or is Cuba its own entity? Oh, it's its own entity. Okay. Wow. Yay. Well, just for fun, I'm going to look at Germany. That's my ancestry. Oh, pfft. Interesting.
In Colorado, we have a large population of people from Laos, but they also speak Hmong, or they're Hmong people, but they're from Laos instead of Vietnam.
Oh, wow. What two ethnic groups did we discuss?
Ireland and Mexico.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking at the Korean population, and it's funny that a lot of them choose Southern California. There's like 2 of them in Wyoming.
That's funny.
Looks like there's a lot in Las Vegas too.
Makes sense.
But still the East Coast.
There's
Let me take a look at
all types of people in New York.
Yeah,
Everybody
that's
goes
for sure.
there.
I
So
mean,
now
you go to
the
New
Irish
York
are-
and you look at.
Okay, I'm looking at the Irish population. There's still a lot in New York on the East Coast, the Northeast Coast. It looks like a little bit in Chicago, Los Angeles. Looks like maybe San Francisco. I wonder why they moved there, which is one of the questions.
I think they would be pulled to like major cities and because it has more job opportunities, more success stories.
When I think you think about at what time frames we're talking. In earlier migrations, people moved so that they could be landowners, and that's not so much what's happening now. Nowadays, they're coming for different reasons, and I think that does lead to staying in cities more rather than out into more rural areas.
time too, in the times where their migration was bigger, it was during like the famine.
Hmm.
And while the English and a lot of the other settlers had settled most of the coastal regions, the Irish and a lot of the other people came and went more towards the west, where there was still a lot of land to be had, and that was all interesting to me. I enjoyed the movie this week and learning that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, it looks like right now, looking at this map, it looks like New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Seattle is dominantly where the Irish are. That's interesting.
Like, I traveled to Minneapolis, Minnesota for a sleep conference, and I was there, and there was a whole section of town that was all Irish, and every place you went, it was an Irish pub this and an Irish this. And I thought that was interesting that there was something in Minneapolis.
Yeah. What?
All right. So what do you guys think the major push and pull factors are for the Irish and the Mexicans?
Well, definitely a pull to the United States is that they have better job opportunities here than they have in Mexico. So that's pushing them out of Mexico, I guess, because they can do better coming here.
Cheryl, Kelly, what do you guys think?
Well, looking at the map, I had to pull the map up. Yeah, obviously California. I mean, Kelly and I can speak to this all day about the Mexican population in California.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all over. I mean, it's just all over. In fact, Kelly, maybe you can agree that I am not bilingual. I can barely get to Taco Bell. Okay? But it's interesting to see so many people speaking Spanish. It's like, odds are somebody else can understand you. What's the deal? You know, but it is interesting to look and see how far south in California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, that's where the really dominant cultures are. Now the pocket up in the Northwest, in not the Northwest, the Midwest, in Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, that's an interesting pocket to me. I didn't see that coming, but I've got to go back to what Marty was saying. Jobs, they're bigger cities that they're in. Looks like Denver's got their fair share. Yeah, it's all that southern belt, you know, the Southwest, South Central United States, where the bigger towns are.
Yep, and up where you see it up in the Midwest, one of the ladies I work with is from Traverse City, Michigan, and it's the cherry capital of the world. And she said that they have huge populations of Hispanic people that come up there and they pick the fruit. They're up there for the jobs.
And that's probably what what it is here too, right, Kelly? The fields, the vineyards,
Oh yeah.
the groves.
Yeah, all labor.
Yeah.
What I thought was really interesting is just in the last 10 years, from 1990 to 2000, how large the jump was of Hispanic immigrants. Like, it changed a lot. But yeah, I think that they do the cheap labor. So anywhere that's needed.
Right. Yeah.
I would think they'd want to go like where their culture is more supported too, because if you're gonna like go to Montana, there's gonna be like less like foods you like and people who speak what you're comfortable with than going to like LA or New York.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah.
Or that goes back to that whole voluntarily segregating ourselves into the groups that we feel comfortable with. And so that's where they're going to be, is where they feel comfortable.
Right. Or where they have friends or family that have already relocated and can attest to the jobs or the social climate or, you know, whatever you want to call it.
I think too, I found it interesting that they didn't, like, the majority of them haven't gotten that far from Mexico. And I work in a construction company, and we have probably over 150 Hispanic employees. The majority of them go home a lot. They go back to Mexico. So I think that they just don't go very far away from that because they do travel back.
They have family back there, obviously, Kelly?
Yeah, and a lot of them send money back to their families.
I don't have a computer problem today.
All right, and question 2 says that we are in charge of a research center for new immigrants from one of the ethnic groups we just researched in question 1. What are the 10 important skills or pieces of information that new immigrants will need to thrive in the U.S.? Do you guys just want to use Mexico because there's a bigger population of them currently?
That sounds good.
Yeah, the Italians, you can hardly find them. I mean, they
Yeah.
were really hard to find, yeah.
The longer time goes on, the less there are.
Yeah. Well, I wonder how many people are immigrating from Italy. I don't know.
And Italy is substantially smaller than Mexico and further.
That's true too. Yeah. So we need to give them 10 important skills or pieces of information.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would we tell Mexicans coming to the United States? There's a greater population in the Southwest.
Probably to apply for citizenship because it's like easier to get jobs if you have like a social security number and the paperwork.
They don't have to become citizens to get a social security card. You can apply for a work social security card.
So to get like a work visa?
It's not even a work visa. It's just a temporary social security card.
That's
it's like
interesting, Kelly. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yep. On top of it, I can't remember what it says, but it'll say like for work only.
Okay.
Like ours doesn't have anything on it, but theirs will say, I can't remember like I can't remember. It's not INS on it, but it's like qualified to work, and then you have to call and check to see if they're within their time period that they're allowed to work with that social security card.
Now, I know 90 days is a popular number, Kelly. Is it more than that? Is it 180 days or?
To be honest, I do not know.
Yeah, I was just curious.
I think they have to renew it if they're going to stay longer. I think an important thing to know would be where it's going to be easier to find a job. I mean, when you have high concentrations of immigrants and everybody's fighting for the same job, you're going to have more difficulty helping them to actually get established. yeah, there are going to be some comfort level being there with so many other people that you can relate with and talk to. But in order for them to actually be able to become established and to take some sort of root and be able to stay here, they're going to have to get out away from the high concentrations where the unemployment is, get them up to where they can get a job.
Yeah, because then you're just replicating the problem. You know, they can't get a job in Mexico, so they come to the United States, usually California. And there are so many Hispanics here that are taking the agricultural rural jobs. Well, now they can't get a job in California.
So how many things have we got there, Raquel?
2.
2. I think another important thing is to get them to, I mean, we're becoming more and more, there's more and more people that speak Spanish, but in order for them to actually be proficient here, there's going to be a need for them to try to work on English. And so we should get them to where they can learn English, because there are places that teach English as a second language all over, and they do it as a volunteer service. So help them find a way so that they can learn some communication skills in English.
They can get, instead of being a citizen, is a permanent resident card. They don't have to become U.S. citizens, but they do get the identification to get jobs.
But what kind of card again, Kelly?
It's called a permanent resident card.
Oh, okay.
Would that be the same as driver's license?
No, it's not. Because some of our employees have a driver's license and a permanent resident card. The driver's license just means that they've passed the driving test. Doesn't make them a citizen.
Yeah, that's
Just means that they can drive.
Well, and for a while, was it Gray Davis, Kelly, that outlawed illegal residents having driver's license, or did he want to do that? Somebody wanted to do that.
I'm not sure.
I tried to forget Gray Davis, but that's just me. That's a whole other topic. That's a whole other topic.
Well, I know
but you would be absolutely shocked at how easy it is for them to falsify all of those documents, because I catch them all the time.
Wow.
We have to turn people. Like, one guy brought to me with his application a Social Security card that had 2 numbers, and then 4 numbers. I looked at him and went, "Yeah,
really?
We can't hire you because that's not a Social Security card."
Wow, that is really awkward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, now in Colorado, I know that when you move here, they tell you you have 90 days to get your driver's license so you can prove residency in Colorado. Not that you have to prove it. I mean, a lot of people still say they're from other states and they've been here for almost a year.
They're clearly not residents. So now what do you got?
Most places have that. I think it's in California. I think it's 30 days. You have 30 days to.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's probably 30 days here too. I just don't remember. It's been so long since I've moved.
We've got 4 things on our list, right? Of important skills or pieces of information that they would need. And
we need 10.
We need 10.
See, so
I mean, we're saying for
Probably to have valid job experience.
What was that, Raquel?
I feel
like having valid job experience, because if they come here with like nothing in mind.
The first thing I think they're going to do is That doesn't really matter
I don't know if they would have that.
because they're cheap labor, so they get hired without job experience.
That's probably why they're coming to the
But,
United States.
Well, because you can't really prove their job experience either. It's not like you're gonna call Mexico and
Yeah.
I mean, they
I wonder if
skills are nice to have.
I wonder if sitting them down and explaining laws.
I think one of the first things that they are going to do here. Yeah, one of the first things that they'll probably do is sign up for government assistance.
It's what, Kelly?
I mean, get health care, get their, they have signed up for school and stuff.
So that would be an important thing I think we'd have to do is get them in touch with somebody who can actually provide health care for them.
Can you guys hear me?
What about somebody sitting down with them and explaining laws?
Can you guys hear me?
You're breaking up real bad for me, Kelly.
Can you hear me? I think I lost you guys again.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me now? I letting them know, just like maybe their rights and their responsibilities.
I was going to say, sit them down and explain laws. No trespassing. Stay off of other people's property. Americans are territorial. I mean, whatever.
Laws of drinking and driving and things like that, because we have a lot of that happening where here I work in the hospital and I get a lot of car accidents that are involving folks that are.
How many are we at now?
I just put down laws.
You guys hear me?
Trespass, etc. This is number 6 for me.
How many do we have?
And
we just have 5, so we're on number 6.
I just put laws down as number 6. Did I miss one? Did I add one?
What about their rights as immigrants?
I've got that on there, yeah.
Do we put getting a driver's license as one?
I don't have it on here. We could probably put it on here.
I think that is important. You got to get them all of their documentation that they're going to need to be able to survive. So their driver's license or ID card if they're not going to drive, information on transportation, how to get around. Here in Denver, we have the RTD pass, and it's the public transit that goes everywhere. So you can get them, start.
Yeah, I think explaining public transportation is great because I was just trying to think of, we as a ward, we were just talking about helping the refugees and some of the things that we do. And that's one of the things is to teach them how to use the public transportation and the libraries and things like that.
You know, they usually find some sponsors to help some of these folks. I have a friend who just sponsored people from Burma, and she helped them go shopping the first time, because where they came from, they didn't even have refrigerators, so they had no idea they could buy food that you could keep cold. They go to the market every day where they're from, and then I know in Mexico a lot of that's true too, where they don't go to a supermarket. In the United States, we have the means to preserve food, so we can go to a supermarket once a week instead of every day.
Okay,
Show them where their food is at in the grocery stores. We know where that
is. Yeah.
You said that.
All right, Kelly.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Kelly. Way to go.
See. Now how many are we at? Did we get 10 yet?
We need one more.
One more.
I missed one, so.
What about did we already say housing?
That might be it.
All right, so number 3 says select 3 of the 10 ideas you just brainstormed and design a program that will help these immigrants either develop these skills or learn that information.
I'm like confused on what does it mean, develop a program?
Well, I think maybe what Marty was talking about is, you know, maybe be a sponsor for them and have somebody help them get their documentation, get their temporary Social Security card, get their driver's license. But the driver's license thing I wonder about, because how many immigrants are coming from Mexico that have enough money to buy a car? Who's going to give them credit to buy a car? So maybe they're going to have to rely on public transportation a little more.
And get a state ID.
Yeah.
Colorado, you do the state ID.
Most of our employees don't have driver's license.
Yeah.
But
I wonder.
That doesn't mean they don't drive. They just.
I mean, I think now with the current political climate, I wonder if the most important thing would be to start getting the documentation in order. You know, getting the temporary Social Security card, getting a resident card. If that might, you know, find a sponsor to help them get their documentation in order.
That could be a multifaceted thing. You get set them in line with a sponsor group, or even a group of them at the same time, and help them fill out their paperwork for their for all of their IDs and their cards that they need. And from there, you could take them to the next step, and they move them down a line and say, this is how public transportation works. And there you could have a group of people that discuss the grocery stores, and how in the United States we go to supermarkets, not to a daily market. And I mean, you could do all of that as just in a program where you're just showing them this is how things work.
Okay, so I think maybe get their documentation in order, and then number 2, show them how to use public transportation and shopping and the more social element of our society.
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Yeah.
Sponsorship is going to be important. I think that can also help them find housing. You know, if you know some of those places, it'll help them with finding a place to stay until they're established and they can get their own house.
Yeah.
So like temporary living?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know missionaries do this a lot too. They'll work on ESL skills, English as a second language skills, maybe find a sponsor or a resource to help them with those English language skills.
Yeah, they have those and here in Denver, we have them at the high schools at nighttime. They'll do classes for the adults. And if it's a family that migrated here, the children, when they get enrolled in school, get put into ESL, English as a Second Language. I was a tutor in ESL for years.
So we got them getting their documentation in order. We've got them accustomed or learning the social aspect, shopping, public transportation, getting them housing, and then help them with their language.
Does that fit the need, Raquel?
Yep.
Okay.
Is there anything else anyone wants to add?
What were the 10 things we came up with? I must have missed one.
Get a temporary social security for work. Find an area with job opportunities to be proficient in English. Permanent residency cards, explaining laws, their rights as an immigrant, getting a driver's license and necessary documentation, explaining public transportation system, different stores and like kind of suburb living, and then housing.
Okay. Yeah, I must have a couple combined or something. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's. I think they just come here so blindly, or they hear all these grandiose stories, and they just don't really have an idea what's going on. They just kind of get here and they'll take it as it comes.
Well, a lot of them come because they have other family members who've come in there and they've done well. But I think the difficult people are like my friend Deb, her little family from Burma. They were the first ones in their family to ever come here, and so she sponsored them because they had nobody else here, and so it was just kind of a unique thing where she was able to sponsor somebody who was first generation immigrants.
Wow. Wow.
To add to these programs, where do you think these things should take place?
I know here in Colorado, a lot of them happen in the public high schools after hours. I think that public buildings and schools and stuff are a good venue for that. I mean, they're paid for by taxpayers, and they are supposedly places of learning, so let's use them.
Now the documentation, they would have to go to the Social Security office or the DMV or those specialized offices, wouldn't they?
Well, here they have representatives that'll you can pick up all those paperwork and you can fill it all out, and then they have someone helping them someplace. It doesn't have to be at the DMV or at the Social Security office, because when you go there and you try to fill everything out while you're there, it really clogs up the flow of how fast they're able to do things. So they bring them to the, like, I'm going to say a school, and they have them fill them out there. And then when they go, they have everything ready to go and they can go through the lines quickly.
What about the civic stuff, the shopping, the public transportation, housing? Is there maybe a community element that could help with that?
I don't know of one. It would be fantastic, but that's kind of what my friend Deb did for her little people. She actually took them and showed them. She chauffeured them around and did everything. So, and she did teach them how to use the bus.
Wow. That might be our only fly in the ointment, is coming up with what the civic resources would be to show them about public transportation and shopping and housing and all that.
If we're doing the housing as like temporary living, like there are probably different businesses looking for like a philanthropy opportunity that might be interested in investing.
And I think like RTD has people that they actually pay to come out and teach the school systems and the kids how to use the public transportation. And then they'll bring you hundreds and hundreds of the flyers of this bus comes to this corner at this time, and it gives you the whole bus schedule so you can schedule it and you can find connectings, and they do all of that. And so I think it wouldn't be difficult to have a, even if you did it at a public library, because, you know, during the day kids are in school, but you could have them meet at a public library, and you could have a member of the public transit come and actually help teach them and give them some of that information. What do you think? Are we good on that one now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's got people involved. We've got organizations, for lack of a better word. Certainly the high schools and all that afterward is a good element. We've got lots of people involved, though. That's for sure.
I think it's kind of like church and fellowshipping. If you fellowship a new member and they get to know a lot of people, they become vested in coming. And the same thing would be happening with an immigrant. If you fellowship them and you let them know that they're welcome and that we want them, then they will be more likely to want to be here because they're going to feel this is a great place to be. Where if they don't feel that welcoming phase or whatever, then they're not going to want to be here. I mean, who would want to be someplace where you know you're not wanted?
Yeah.
All right, so it looks like we got everything filled out. Does anyone have like anything else they want to add?
I'm good in the United States right now. I have no desire whatsoever to go anyplace else. I'm good.
Me too. I'm staying right here.
I'm good right here. Yeah, I'm good right here. No thanks. I'm too old for this.
I wouldn't mind visiting a few places, but I don't want to move anywhere.
But you come home.
Yep, I live in my RIP house now. This is it. It's unbelievable. I don't have to go downstairs if I don't want to. The laundry, it's just this is the life right here.
There you go. You got it. Your top drawer, huh, Marty?
That's it.
Okay, you want me to stop the broadcast?
Yep.
That'd be
good.
great.
Okay, I'll stop that.